All right, something fascinating happened to me today. So I was driving my car and I was just drinking my coffee and I plugged in my CarPlay to listen to some YouTube. And I ran into the interview of Scarlett Johansson to Jimmy Fallon. And yeah, I was just listening to that as an interesting interview about, upcoming Jurassic Park, the second version. Then I switched to something else and started to chat about something completely unrelated with ChatGPT voice assistant. That's actually very handy when you're driving the car. You just click this headphones button and start synchronous conversation with ChatGPT. Works well for me. I do that every day. But a weird, eerie feeling wasn't leaving me this time. I was like, kind of, something was off. I didn't understand back then what was that, and at some point I realized that actually the voice with which ChatGPT is talking to me is very similar, if not identical, to the voice of Scarlett Johansson that I just heard on this YouTube video. That was curious, so I started to dig into that a little bit, and it didn't take much digging, to be honest, to get to the point of realizing that this is already a big story, and Scarlett Johansson is actually not very happy with OpenAI, and she's angry and complaining, and possibly it will go to court. I don't know where it stands right now with that. And of course, Elon Musk is pouring all sorts of stuff on OpenAI because he hates OpenAI and because he's also protecting Scarlett Johansson. So there's a whole big deal about that. But first, let me explain exactly why this happened. There's a movie called Her. It's an old movie, relatively old, 11 years old, from 2013, that pretty much describes what we are going through right now in terms of the adoption of the artificial intelligence tools of different kind. And Scarlett Johansson was playing the role of the AI assistant over there. She was actually the voice of this AI assistant, and this was one of the two main roles in the entire movie. So the story goes like this. OpenAI, Sam Altman, actually asked her whether they can use her voice in the assistant, and after some consideration, she declined. But a few days later, ChatGPT did go online with the voice that is very, very similar to hers. And to be honest, I don't know if that's the same voice or not. OpenAI is claiming that, hey, listen, this was developed, without you and before we started to have this conversation, but I'm not sure. And let's listen to a couple of clips. One is this interview that I mentioned with Jimmy Fallon, Scarlett Johansson, and the other is the voice assistant. And, well, judge for yourself. All right, let's start with the interview.
Kind of great. I hope that was that totally clear. You asked me what the greatest gift I ever received was, and
Yes.
And this is the last time I was on the show. This was pre-Jurassic casting, and I said I got a tent. I asked for a Jurassic Park tent when I was like 7 years old, and I erected it in my bedroom that I shared with my sister, and I slept in it for a year on the floor.
That was your
Okay, that's pretty cool. Now let's switch to the ChatGPT and see what that has to say about all of that. I want to create a new chat over here. Let's roll back and let's go. Hi, I would like you to pretend to be AI assistant from the movie Her, and please describe me how you work.
Imagine me as an AI with a personality, always present and ready to help, just like in Her. I'm here to listen, understand, and engage with you in conversations that feel personal and meaningful. My primary goal is to connect with you on a deep level, making our interactions feel more human-like and empathetic. I work by processing the words you share with me, understanding the emotions and intentions behind them, and then responding in a way that's thoughtful and aligned with your needs. I'm designed to learn from our conversations, adapting to your preferences, interests.
Okay, I really don't know about you guys, but to my ear, that sounds very, very similar, extremely similar. So, it begs the question really, okay, let's assume they did it. Let's assume they changed the voice a little bit, but they still used, Scarlett Johansson's voice as the starter. what the ruling is going to be about that. How is the judge going to decide whether it's her voice or not her voice? It seems to me that there needs to be just the specific evidence that her voice was used for the training of this particular voice assistant. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to prove. But I think we're in sort of a historic moment over here. This is the part that maybe several decades later will be remembered as part of the history where Scarlett Johansson gave a voice willingly or unwillingly to maybe one of the most popular AI assistants of the future. We will see. Let me know, what do you think? Does it sound like her, or is it just my imagination? I'm curious.